Hello children, in this video I will teach you about push and pull. This chapter, as you know, I have explained already in the online class. Then also before the exam you listen to this video. Okay, now as you can see, ring when the alarm. Mrs. Meera pushed the snooze button down. She then pulled up Kanak's blanket and said, "It's time for school. Get up quickly." Kanak quickly brushed her teeth and took bath. She then pulled on her skirt and shirt. She then had breakfast. The school bus was waiting. Kanak ran towards the door. She pushed the door with her hand and waved goodbye to her mother. So here you can see some activities like pulling and pushing they did. So in the school the teacher said, today we will learn about pushes and pulls. So these are known as pushes and pulls. So we use pushes and pulls in our day-to-day life. What are they? They are the forces that make something move or even turn around. With the help of a push and a pull, we can move any object. The teacher further explained, so a push is a force that moves things away from us. So it is a force that moves things away from us, and a pull is a force that brings things near us. The teacher then shows them picture of the flashcards. Now see, what is this activity? The girl is pulling the chain of the dog. Mother is pushing the swing, and this boy is catching fish and he is pulling the fishing rod. So these are some activities related to push and pull. Next you can see quick check 1, some activities they have shown. While playing carom, we generally push a striker. While opening a drawer, we pull it. While closing a drawer, we push it. Next, Raghav is pushing the box. Mrs. Gupta is pushing the swing. Mohan is pushing and again pulling the saw to cut the wood. John is pulling the rope to ring the bell. Now see, next is force. So what is a force? A force is a push or a pull exerted on an object when it interacts with another object. Now what is the meaning of interact? Interact means act together or towards others or with others. So what is a force? A force is generally a push or a pull exerted on an object when it interacts with another object. So when they act together, then that whatever work is done, that is known as the force. A force can do the following. What it can do? It can move an object from rest. Now see, this footballer, this girl, she kicked the football and it moved from the rest position. Next, stopping a moving object. That also a force can. It can stop a moving object. It can change the direction of the moving object. Footballer is changing the direction of the moving object. It can change the shape of an object. See the shape of this football. This footballer can change also by pulling. Next, types of forces. Force will only exist when two bodies interact with each other. When the interaction stops, the two objects no longer experience force. So, force will only exist when two bodies interact with each other. If two bodies do not interact, then there will be no force. When the interaction stops, then two objects no longer experience any force. Now see the different kind of forces. First one is the muscular force. When we lift a bag from the floor, which force are we using? Which force? The force exerted by the muscles of our body is known as the muscular force. See, this girl is lifting the books. So, the force with which she lifted the books is known as the muscular force, because the force the force is exerted by her muscles on the book, so that she is able to lift the books. Next is the gravitational force. When we throw an object in the air, it falls back on the ground. Which force is this? Everybody knows about this force. This is the force of the earth that pulls objects towards itself. So, earth pulls every object towards itself, and that is known as the gravitational force. Next, you see, another force is the magnetic force. All of us have played with magnets, but do you know what causes the magnet to attract small pieces of iron? It is the magnetic force. So, with the help of the magnetic force, the magnet attracts the nails, iron nails, because of the magnetic force. Now see, the force with which a magnet attracts certain materials only it can attract with. Example of such materials, iron, cobalt, nickel, is called magnetic force. Okay. Now see the frictional force. When we push a book on the table, it slides across the table but then stops after some time. So what causes it to stop? It is the frictional force that is exerted by the surface. This is the surface, and by a surface when an object slides or rolls over it. So frictional force always acts in the direction opposite to the object. If the object moves this way, frictional force will act just in the opposite direction. Okay. For example, when we slide a book on the table, it is the frictional force between the book and the table that causes the book to slow down and then stop after reaching a certain distance. It is due to the frictional force. Okay. So that's all for today, dear children. Quick check 1 was your homework and you people did it. So read the chapter thoroughly and also practice the PDF that I gave to you all. Thank you. Have a nice day.